I got to be honest, I'm going to contradict so many things that I've said in the past that you guys are going to swear that I'm running for office. Why, hello there, guys, and welcome back to Not Only Surviving But Thriving, Living in Thailand with me, your crazy, kooky host. Yes, it is the king of contradictions, Dr. Mark Sabian, coming at you live from positively perfect Phuket, Thailand. Today's video, guys, it's all about scams. And here are 3 new scams that are hitting the island right now. One is a take on a scam that is quite popular in China and other touristy areas here in Southeast Asia, not so much here on Phuket, but it is gaining traction. And then the other 2 are ones that I am just getting introduced to. And the crazy thing is, I am going to contradict things that I have said in other videos, and you're going to be like, Doc, what the? Anyways, guys, listen, let's jump right in. Here's scam number 1 that you need to be aware of right now that's happening every single day on Phuket. And quite honestly, as rainy season falls down upon us, low season is here, income is down, there's not as many tourists, and people are starting to get desperate for money, these scams are going to come out. And here is a new one that has just arrived on the shores here in Phuket. Again, popular in other places, just coming to Phuket. Now, I have not personally saw this scam run on Phuket yet. However, I almost fell victim to it my very first trip to China. Guys, here's typically what happens. You will be approached by 3 people. It's always a group of 3. There's 1 guy and 2 very beautiful girls. You will notice that one of the girls shall have her arm around, or she'll be holding hands with the guy. They're going to come up to you and start talking to you and introduce you to their friend, who is always very beautiful, who speaks extremely limited English, but they're looking for someone to sit down, have some drinks with. Now, in China, it's always tea. They want to take you for tea, sit you down, have a nice experience with you, talk to you, blah, 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 blah. On Phuket and in other areas of Thailand right now, what they're doing is they're coming up to guys, and typically it's a foreigner guy. It's not a local with the girls, it's a foreigner working in tandem with them. So please be aware, again, as I have mentioned in a lot of videos, you gotta watch the foreigners every bit, because they're just as bad for trying to rip people off as anybody else here. Anyways, what they do is they convince you to come have some drinks with them, etc., etc., and they always take you to a bar that you don't know, and it's completely removed from where you would expect them to take you. A good example, down in Phuket, they're not going to take you to Bangla Road. They're going to take you to some offshoot side soy thing, and you're going to go in. It's going to be usually a dark bar. Nobody's going to be in there except for the bartender and usually a security guard. And the security guard is scary as... Doesn't matter how big and tough you think you are, that security guard is really scary. What happens is, at the end of the day, and this just happened to one of my subscribers, he emailed me about it and asked me to do a quick video about it. They'll sit down, they'll have some drinks. There's, of course, no menus or anything like that, and you're just ordering beers, and they're ordering some cocktails and stuff like that. All of a sudden, the bill comes, and they don't have any money, and you're expected to pay, and all of a sudden the bill is like 10,000 baht for 5 or 6 drinks. Really, that should be no more than 200 or 300 baht, but yeah, you know what, it's coming up to 10,000 baht, and you're being told that you're not getting out without paying it. So guys, listen, this is one of those scams that has been happening all over the world. I know there's a lot of guys that are not used to it, haven't heard about it, and you know, you're thinking, oh, it's a foreigner, I can trust this guy. No, not all the time. So listen, my advice to you is this: if you're approached by a group of 3 people or even more, and they're asking you to go have drinks with them someplace, make sure you go someplace well in the open, that there's menus where you can see the prices of the drinks. Make sure that there's no cover charge to get inside of the bar or anything like that. And guys, just please be very, very careful, because this is one of those scams that you can get into trouble in a hurry. And quite honestly, if you don't have the phone number for the tourist police, which I will put in the description below, you could find yourself paying up a lot of money, and you just want to get out of there because you are scared once that bouncer comes over and starts giving you a hard time about the bill. Okay, so be very, very careful who you go drinking with here. I have to admit, this scam cuts me right to the core because of the fact that I have spent so much time saying, hey, if you want to get a lot for your bot, jump on Facebook Marketplace. And sadly enough, right now on Phuket, there is this crazy motorbike scam that, again, one of my subscribers just last month got himself caught up into. And since then, I've heard of 2 other people who have fallen prey to this exact same scam. Now, I don't know what it is about rainy season and low season, but even the shopkeepers and the honest people here are trying to get so much money out of the tourists that it's insane. And they haven't really grasped the idea of, supply versus demand, et cetera, et cetera. And they're still trying to get really crazy rental prices for their bikes, even though there's tens of thousands of bikes just sitting there on the side of the road waiting to be rented by people who are just not here. Anyways, this guy, he went to a couple of different shops, looked around, and everyone was telling him this crazy price. So he thought, well, what the hell? Doc says, lot for your bot, Facebook Marketplace, ding, 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 and found a really good deal on a bike. So he goes and he meets this Russian guy in front of a 7-Eleven, and the guy doesn't ask for his passport as a deposit, which we've talked about many, many times, guys. Don't ever give your passport here as a deposit for anything, okay? They work out a thing where he gives them a 5,000 baht deposit, which works out to be right around 150 US dollars. And then he gives them 3,000 baht for the bike rental for the month, which is a smoking deal, especially on the bike that he got. Problem was, the Russian didn't own the bike. He actually runs this scam, and how he does it is this. You send him a message, he stops off at just a random motorbike place, tells the people he wants to take it out for a test drive, which a lot of these places will let you do. He then goes to 7-Eleven, meets his mark, gives him the bike, takes the money and off, deletes his Facebook thing, and boom, he's gone with 8,000 baht, and you're stuck with a bike that, guess what? Hey, not yours at all. Yeah, crazy, guys. It's insane. The level of scamming that's going on here during the low season, rainy season is just, it's sad, especially for someone like myself who has told you guys how much he loves rainy season and recommends you guys coming here during rainy season. Again, it's like I'm almost profiting off these scams myself. But this Facebook one cuts me to the core because I do go on all the time about you want to get a lot for your bot, go to Facebook Marketplace. And of course, none of these Survive and Thrive videos would be complete without a story about one of the local lovely ladies. Now guys, this is a scam that I have personally seen in action, and thankfully I know enough, just enough to be dangerous, okay? Now, I really shouldn't say it's a local lady because typically this happens with a freelancer, massage girl, bar girl from Burma or Myanmar, okay? And what happens is this. If you know anything about Burma and Myanmar, extremely famous for rubies, okay? There's some of the largest ruby mines in the world located over in Burma / Myanmar, okay? And what happens is these girls have these stones, okay? Usually they're cut, they're polished, all of this stuff. And what happens is they've got paperwork that looks like this and looks completely legitimate and everything going on about the cut, the clarity, blah, 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 blah. And what happens is you go out, you're doing whatever it is with the girl that you're doing, and all of a sudden, she gets talking to you about how, when she lived in Burma, this, blah, 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 blah. She got this stone and she'd like to sell it, but she's not allowed to sell it because as a Burmese person, they can't take it to the store and sell it, etc., etc. Would you like a smoking deal on it? And the thing looks beautiful, there's the paperwork, and you're thinking, wow, what a way to make a couple $1,000s. And it's usually not a lot of money that they're asking for it. They're usually asking about 4,000 or 5,000 baht, which is not a lot of money to us. It's not a lot of money at all. But what happens is this, guys, it's a piece of glass. And most, let's be honest, most men don't know all about gemstones. I was very fortunate. My mother was a huge jewelry collector. She sold jewelry for decades and decades and decades. So I, oddly enough, know a lot about gemstones. One of those weird quirks about me. Anyways, I actually had a guy contact me saying, you know, what do I do about it? And I'm like, dude, don't buy it. I'm going to come over and see it. And I did. I went over, showed him that, yeah, this thing is a piece of glass, guy. It's not even worth $1. And she was asking again like 5,000 baht for it. So guys, listen, if it's too good to be true, it is too good to be true. It always is, guys, okay? And be very, very careful of the girls, because a lot of these guys, they just, I don't know what it is. The girl's either so pretty or she's so that good that we just fall for anything that they say, guys. But you really need to be careful about this. And again, just like I'm not trying to beat on the Australians or the Russians, but when it comes to the freelancers, especially, guys, if she's from Burma, Myanmar, be very, very cautious, because obviously she's not working in the bars and stuff like that. So there's nobody that you can go to and talk to about her. And by the time she's got your money, she's gone and moved on to like Rawai, Bangtao, and you're not going to find her again. You're just not going to, okay? So be very, very careful of the ruby scam. It is here on the island going on. I know it 100%. Guys, just protect yourself. You know, coming here, if you just keep your head about you and realize that what's too good to be true always is too good to be true. Be very, very careful when you're renting bikes, guys. I have mentioned this previously in other videos. I never rent bikes off of Facebook Marketplace. I get my apartments and stuff like that. Kind of hard to steal an apartment, even though there are some scams to that I'll talk about in another video. And be very, very leery who you're going out to drink with, guys, here, because there's just, again, there's so many people who are desperate for money, so many people that are looking to take advantage of the newbies, the naive guys and stuff. And it is my little slice of paradise, but it's also it's a scammer's delight. It truly is. When you factor in the girls, the booze and everything, it just, stuff can get out of hand so fast. And all I want for you guys is to be safe and live your best life, because you know, anything less than the best, you got it. Till next time, guys, cheers.